I'm Alexander Lindley, and I'd like to record a vlog with a focus on boredom. Um, I've heard it said, and this is something I resonate with, that one definition of boredom can be rage spread thin. It's a Saturday evening, about 8:10. I'm at home alone, and I've been doing a bit of collage work for the Artist's Way course, and I was drawn to some images of boredom, people expressing, looking bored. And I felt quite a lot of boredom on and off for 10 or 15 years, really. Even when doing things that would ordinarily be considered exciting, enjoyable, including when I spent a year traveling around Asia, which most of the time, or much of the time, was a great adventure, was enjoyable, was challenging. It was full of sort of new experiences, was varied. But when I kind of stopped or was in a particular location for a period of time, sometimes bored feelings would arise even then in kind of beautiful parts of Nepal or India. So I'm curious about what boredom actually means to me, and if it is rage spread thin, then what is this rage, and what can I do about it, or how can I channel it creatively? I'm starting to get a bit of I can feel some resistance to talking about this, actually. So I think for me, some of my rage is linked to very kind of existential issues of, finding meaning, purpose, and existence, meaning and purpose for my life, and yes, something sort of very unfulfilled. I mean, sometimes the rage can be, and this feels a bit vulnerable sharing this, but rage sort of at or to do with my mental health condition and all the sort of limitations and constraints it places on me, or has placed on me, things I haven't been able to do, or haven't been able to do so easily, haven't been able to achieve. But that's kind of looking at other people and other people's lives and comparing myself, and I know that's often not useful, because my path might be very different to other people's, or my perception of other people's paths. And for me, when I think or experience my rage, it does, the immediate image that comes up as being sort of trapped in a prison, and wanting to sort of break out, but not knowing how to, not being able to, and it conjures up the idea of this prison I feel trapped in is one of my own construction, which I initially kind of constructed as a sort of internal construction to keep myself safe. When I was a very young child, and I was experiencing sort of a very kind of chaotic environment, a very traumatic. I was traumatized, basically, and so I kind of found a safe place inside myself and sort of walled myself off, and that became my prison, my kind of safe refuge, and that's remained inside me. So it's like just sort of change the metaphors again. It's like the sort of caged tiger that just paces up and down its cage and kind of gets stuck in doing that. You know, when the cage is removed, the tiger will continue pacing up and down that short distance. It's what it kind of feels like. Yeah, so I think I am a bit stuck at the moment, or boredom is often a sign for me of being stuck, or being very kind of aware of that stuck place, that stuck energy. And I can feel a lot of emotional pain inside me now, a sort of, it's like a scream that wants to come out, which I often talk about, and it's like a scream that it's like I can't scream, or scream, it's too dangerous to scream. Maybe that's more to the point. Yeah, it feels too dangerous to scream, not safe enough to really let that scream out. I can feel pangs of grief in the heart, so I'm getting close to the nub. Yes. Yeah, I think this is linked to my mental health condition, or even mental illness. That scream, and yeah, I'm not sure how far down I want to go with that at the moment. That's like a sort of therapeutic issue, really. Yeah, I was going to get back to boredom. Yeah, I just feel a lot of sadness inside me. I'm doing a lot of emotional processing, and I want to find kind of creative outlets for this rage, or these difficult feelings. And recording vlogs is definitely one form of creativity I have, but there are other forms as well. I find movement quite helpful when I'm feeling stuck, even if just walking around my flat. That can be very helpful. And looking at the artwork that I've already done, or other interesting or beautiful objects in my room. I could see lots of birthday cards from my recent birthday, some house plants. Yeah, I think the intensity of the pain or the rage that I'm close to is quite strong. You know, it's like that fear of going crazy, but that I can also be a very creative energy if I can sort of tap into that. Or sometimes I rip up cardboard boxes as well. I could just play with the idea of, I think I'm not that close to madness or going crazy, but I'm a little bit near the edge, of that. Yes, and feeling that stuckness, that trapped feeling as well. I have done a lot of therapy around this over the years and decades, so it's like a familiar place. Maybe I'd I mean, some of the most sort of famous artists have had either mental health issues or have been a bit on the kind of crazy side. Certainly, so there's something potentially useful or kind of fruitful, or about this craziness that I'm just describing, or a feeling of wanting to go crazy, or I mean, that's like an opposite of boredom, really. I mean, boredom's like a sort of a stuck energy, and rage or craziness is a much more alive place, much more and the kind of crazy feeling, or the rage, it's like I would want to sort of turn a table over, something like that, and just sort of look at my lounge table, which is pretty heavy, so it would be quite difficult for me to turn it over, really, although I probably could. But like I want to sort of upset the apple cart, or just I have on one or two occasions in my life turned a table over. That was like a kind of coffee table, I think. I think I did that. Quite satisfying. I can feel some energy in my sort of feet now. I do need to stay grounded when I'm in this kind of energy. I think I've got this energy sort of flowing inside me, so I do need to do something with it that will be useful, positive, sort of helpful. I just feel a lot of pain sort of rising into my head now. Artwork can be good. I've been doing quite a bit of that. I think there's quite a bit of loneliness around as well. But it's like a sort of a lonely feeling coupled with not a lonely feeling coupled with not wanting to be around people, or finding it quite hard going being around people. Obviously, it depends which people I'm talking about, I'm choosing to spend time with. It's like a sort of push-pull feeling, come here, go away. But I think there is quite a lot of loneliness in my life. Again, that feels vulnerable to admit, to share, and maybe a certain amount of denial. I'm in denial as to just how lonely I am, because I've always been really enjoyed my own company and needed lots of sort of alone time and space, but probably having too much of that now. So I'll probably go out later, even if briefly, to the supermarket, which closes in 40 minutes. So just to have that sort of change of scene and to be around people. I feel a bit too kind of fragile or vulnerable to sort of go out somewhere else on a Saturday night by myself. I think there have been a couple of things that have been happening in the last few days, which maybe has triggered this rage, and I think I'm not just noticing the sort of the polarity, or the idea that boredom and rage might be very linked. yeah, I do get an urge to sort of move around. Maybe I shall. That always helps if I'm feeling a bit stuck. Also starting to feel really hungry now. I'm sure that's like an emotional hunger, not a real hunger. I've been kind of grazing throughout the day today on sort of snacky type things. Yeah, starting to feel that very emotional hunger. Some kind of like an urgent feeling around, like I've I'm starting to feel that boredom again now. Yeah, I'm kind of flipping in and out of boredom, which is, I think, like a way of shutting down, and a kind of dangerous or crazy feelings, like wanting to sort of break out of my prison. Yeah, I've had this for years and decades, wanting to break out of my prison, the prison of my own construction, and then really flip-flopping and with preferring to stay in my prison, wanting to stay in my prison, which is, like I've made it quite comfortable. Yeah, that's an analogy I've sort of used a lot over a long period of time. Not sure how helpful it is. I think that what I need to do is sort of take action. I have been in my flat for pretty well the whole of today. I think I went out to take the rubbish out earlier, so I think I do need to sort of go outside. There's just a lot of emotions sort of stirring, and I'm trying to sort of contain it all whilst remaining in my flat, and I do have techniques to do that, but I think if I go to the supermarket now, then it's almost like the supermarket also becomes a container or an extension, and might get a sort of takeaway or something on my way back home. Okay, well, I've explored sort of boredom and rage spread thinly a bit in this vlog, so thanks for listening if you've got this far, and comments and feedback very welcome, and have a great evening, day, morning, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. Bye for now.